Hi, beautiful people. How's it going? I was gonna do like something else today, but then something came up. So I was thinking, why let's not just do a spontaneous live today. So I know it was very shortly announced, but thank you for everyone who's joining me here today. We're going to talk a bit more about Neptune going retrograde and shifting back into the sign of Pisces, because that's a big one. Neptune is going to shift over tomorrow on the 22nd of October, and it's going to stay in Pisces until the 26th of January 2026 next year. So we're now reaching the final act of a very long Neptune transit in the sign of Pisces. It started making its ingress in February 2011, and then in April 2012, it fully shifted into the sign of Pisces. So, yeah, it really like blurs the lines between reality and dreams, and that is like a really important one because Neptune, of course, rules over our dreams, but Saturn is also got back into the sign of Pisces as well. So our dreams are receiving a big reality check right now. And I feel a lot of people are gonna say goodbye to certain dreams that they have been trying to reach over the last 10 years, even for 14 years. But Neptune in Pisces is really about heightened sensitivity, about intuition, and it's also about our collective unconsciousness. That is what Neptune rules over as well. So think about mysticism, surrender, the unseen realms, and also it's about the deep spiritual reflection that we are about to get into right now, because we're going to wrap up the final act of Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So yeah, for the last time in our lifetime, now we are actually invited to look back at all the illusions that we actually carried. So all the dreams that we try to follow, all the spiritual lessons that we've actually absorbed over the past 14 years. And this time is definitely not about rushing forward. It's really about the integration of all those lessons, and also about a big release. And when we fully surrender, that's going to give us a lot of clarity once Neptune shifts back into the sign of Aries, because we've already seen Neptune in Aries from the 30th of March this year until tomorrow. So I feel like a lot of people really dared to speak up, and a lot of people broke a lot of cycles and a lot of patterns that they were stuck in. And now when Neptune shifts back into Pisces, I feel a lot of people are gonna struggle a bit with the sense of like, over the past 6 months, a lot of people felt like they put a step forward, and now it can feel like we're taking two steps back. And that is the illusion that we need to be really, really careful about over the next 3 months. Like, yes, you've been evolving, and yes, you've been taking steps forward, but now, yeah, we need to really see through the illusion of like falling back into certain patterns that we were stuck in, and also, yeah, let go of what's no longer true. And it's gonna be made very, very obvious to us what's no longer working over the next 3 months. We're gonna look at each of the 12 rising signs, because this retrograde is gonna highlight a specific area of your chart, and we're gonna take a deep dive into what that means. And yeah, it's actually time to return to what's timeless, boundless, and also what's real. So that is like the paradox of today that I want to talk to you about, because with Saturn and Pisces as well, it ain't easy. If you did manage to make your dreams come true, then congratulations. It probably took a lot of hard work, especially since March of 2023, whenever Saturn started its ingress into the sign of Pisces as well. Well, now all of the big harsh reality checks that we endured over the last 2-3 years are now going to see a final wrap up. So yeah, welcome back to my channel. My name is Astrid. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we're going to take a look at today's presentation. So yeah, endings and the spiritual integration of those endings. It's also about mysticism that is going to meet a lot of reality checks. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people are going to be releasing long lost dreams. Don't worry, all the dreams that you're releasing right now, something new, something better is going to emerge by the spring of 2026 for the Northern Hemisphere. So yeah, veils are definitely lifting and thinning, especially with the start of Scorpio season that is about to begin tomorrow as well. And yeah, we're gonna go through a lot of transcendence when we decide to let things go. So Neptune, the unseen realms, the dissolvement of boundaries, also yeah, about inspiration, empathy, and also spiritual connection. But the downside of Neptune is really about fog, illusions, deception, confusion, and it's actually a planet that teaches us to trust what lies beyond our logic and also to surrender to life's greater flow. And that can be really, really, yeah, hard. Yeah, it's going to be a difficult time the next 3 months. This is the last Neptune and Pisces cycle before the age of Aquarius starts in 2100. So yeah, very, very strong Neptunian influences. We are shifting over from the age of Pisces to Aquarius, and this is like the last full-blown Neptune and its home sign of Pisces, and it's going to be at 29 degrees, which is a critical degree from tomorrow onwards. So yeah, that is like a lot of lies and deception will be thrown onto our path, and we need to be very, very discerned about what we take for truth, especially with the Mercury retrograde that is about to pop up as well. It's already in its shadow phase, but it's gonna start from the 9th of November, and it's gonna shift back from Sagittarius into Scorpio. So yeah, it's like very, very interesting yeah, time. I'm like preparing the Mercury retrograde video already, and I'm gonna post it a little bit early because this is not your normal Mercury retrograde that is about to pop off, and the energy is already very, very palpable. So let's prepare a little bit for that as well. But Neptune in Pisces has definitely opened all of us up to more empathy and more creativity, and also a deeper sense of collective connection. It's also about spirituality, of course, and art and emotional intelligence, and that actually became very, very central in our lives. And it's also shown us actually how powerful imagination can be when we use it to heal and to create something meaningful. Unfortunately, the dark arts people have been using this to really create a lot of confusion for the past 14 years. Because yeah, Neptune, it blurs the lines and it can make things very unclear and very confusing. The transit has really showed us because yeah, Neptune rules over screens and media, and like this video is about the 12 signs, but I'm also preparing like a collective video where I'm gonna talk more about how Neptune and Pisces really influenced the whole collective, and the start of the smartphone and Snapchat and Facebook and all of our screens and lost time and passively scrolling our lives away. Well, that is about to end pretty soon. But more on that for the later video about the collective signs. So right now, with the final moments here with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, we're all being asked to really look very honestly at what's real and what's not in our lives. And we really need to release the narratives that have kept us drifting and feeling lost at sea, and we can only keep what feels authentic and what feels true, and that is going to become very, very obvious over the next 3 months. And hey, Stain, thank you for keeping me company with this unexpected live today. I know it's a bit of a strange hour, especially for people who are living across the pond, but I'm happy you're here with me today. So let's take a look at all of the 12 signs. So if you don't know your rising sign, you can go to astroseek.com, you can plug in your birth details, and then you can find out your rising sign. So let's start with Aries, sun, moon, or rising. So For you, my dear Aries, the energy is very, very strong because, of course, Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces. And for you, my dear Aries, it's in its home house of the 12th as well. So, yeah, the themes here are definitely about the subconscious that is going to reveal its story to you. The 12th, that is about confined spaces, working behind the scenes, feeling a bit lonely or out of place. Things can feel out of reach. You can also feel like you are a bit of the underdog, or that you need to sacrifice yourself in regards to help the underdog. And Neptune in the 12th, it can give problems with sleeping cycles, patterns in dreams, very strange dreams. It can also give some problems with substance abuse. If you do that under this transit, that can cause a lot of anxiety. The 12th, yeah, any type of addiction or type of escapism. So escapism, you can do it through substance abuse, but I would rather recommend you to do it through meditation. And also the 12th, it rules the spiritual planes. But whenever you're ungrounded, this can feel very unstable and chaotic. So for you, my dear Aries, very, very important to dive into spiritual practices, but also to keep your feet on the ground and to really, take a lot of walks near water, near the sea, take some time to breathe. And the 12th, of course, and Neptune and Pisces together, all of that energy together can feel like there's a very big, heavy weight on your shoulders in regards to the collective consciousness, and definitely the picking up a lot of signals and a lot of despair and confusion and sadness from the collective unconsciousness as well. So you need to be very, very careful not to get lost in that. And if you feel like you're a bit absent, or you're like a little bit foggy or uncertain, you can ask yourself, is this energy really mine, or am I just picking up things that are not meant for me to deal with? You need to be really, really careful about drawing boundaries with people. Don't get lost in the savior, rescuer type of dynamic. That is also very important for you, my dear Aries. And also know that every energy that gets into the 12th house, it actually gets dissolved. The 12th has a very disappearing factor. It's like you cannot fully grasp, and things get dissolved, and things might get lost, only for you to later find it back very unexpectedly. And it's a really, really special kind of energy. If you are a very evolved, conscious, spiritual soul, then this can give a lot of spiritual divine intervention as well. So it's actually about surrender and trusting the divine, and trusting that everything will come in time, and really take notice of the synchronicities that are going to come onto your path, because they can be very, very strong. So the retrograde in your 12th, it's really going to draw your awareness towards like the unseen architecture of your inner world. So it's about the beliefs that operate in the background, the unconscious part of your brain. And Neptune has entered Pisces back in 2011 and fully in 2012. And since that, a lot of subtle patterns have actually shaped your sense of self. Also, your relationship to solitude. And I know a lot of you, my dear Aries, have been going through some extended period of time where you had to retreat, or where you had to feel very, very lonely and could have felt really, really lost. But that was actually the universe initiation into like really surrendering and trusting the divine plan, and also showing you that even if you are isolated, you are never alone. You always have a spirit team surrounding you that is actually helping you forward. And it was about like showing them that you have trust in them, and not freaking out about being a little bit lonely. So yeah, solitude, very big theme. And also the way how you resist, or actually how you surrender, or how you like resist surrender, and also in regards to the life's larger currents as well. So what stories have actually quietly guided you from the shadows of your own subconscious? And for a lot of Aries risings, this might mean, facing extreme periods of solitude, and also moments where you actually had to rely entirely on your own strength. For other Aries, it can also manifest as learning how to release control and trust that life unfolds in its own mysterious rhythm. And it's less about the external outcomes. It's more about like the creation of these spiritual muscles that you've been building over the last 14 years. So it might feel again now for the next 3 months like I must do everything on my own, or the flip side of it, I cannot make it on my own at all. So if you struggle with these themes, it might be very, very interesting to look what's beneath that and where that comes from. You can like finally over the next 3 months really release that pattern. So yeah, it's not simply about beliefs. They are not simply your beliefs. They are actually these inherited emotional reflexes that actually formed in very deep places of your own psyche. And Neptune has been softening those edges in your psyche, and it's actually been blurring the lines between isolation and connection, and between control and trust. So reflect on the themes of worthiness and sacrifice and selfless service towards others, and also how that affected your story up until now. Know that you do not need to save anyone but yourself. Really put a lot of attention on yourself for the next 3 months. Have you over identified with like the idea of suffering as a spiritual necessity? Well, that is actually not true. Some of you might have withdrawn to avoid a lot of pain, and it might be that you were convincing yourself that detachment equals safety, but that is actually not true. That creates a lot more pain. And also Neptune in the 12th can really create a lot of mystical openings, and it's going to put a very big spotlight on your avoidance mechanisms. So recognizing these defense patterns, that isn't failure. That is actually very, very strong. And it points towards a lot of strong, spiritual muscles. And it's actually the very big alchemy that this transit invites you to reflect over to. And really make peace with the ghosts from the past, because in January, Neptune will shift over into your house, dear Aries. It will shift over in your first sign, your sun or your moon sign, and everything that has actually that's been living behind the veils, it's gonna start to surface a lot. You might already have noticed that over the past 6 months. I think a lot of Aries have felt a shift. It's actually, this is the moment to really integrate unconscious wisdom into your conscious identity and weave that together over the next 6 months when the Neptune is going to make its transition. Look at the synchronicities, look at all the storms that you have survived, and really, allow all of these threads to really weave that into fabric, the fabric actually of who you are becoming. This is a very, very big threshold moment for all of my Aries. So the real power of solitude, it is not in being separate from the world. It is actually in learning to stand with it without needing to control it. So recognize the quiet forces that have shaped you, and also reclaim authorship of your story. You don't need anyone to save you, and you don't need to save anyone. You are quite capable to do that on your own, my dear, strong, fiery Aries. So this is really a very big spiritual preparation for a new cycle of embodiment. Actually, once Neptune enters your sign in 2026. So good luck, my dear Aries. And here we have Michael. Hi, Michael. Michael says, Aries Sun here, solitude has been a big theme this year. I think when you really tune into why you feel lonely, because like I'm an Aries Sun as well, and even when I'm in big crowds of people, I can still feel a little bit lonely. I just know that it's because of all these planetary influences in our 12th house, and I know we can like really let go of the pattern of feeling isolated and lonely over the next 3 months. So I hope for you, dear Michael, that happens for you as well, and I wish you good luck. We have Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, Taurus, you are gonna have a Neptune retrograde back into the sign of Aries. Pisces. The Mercury retrograde is already getting me. I'm telling you, it's going retrograde on my third house cusp. Like, it's been a lot of Mercury retrograde, but now let's focus on Neptune. It's in the sign of Pisces back into your 11th house. So for you, the team here are like collective communities, the collective in general, your ideals, your wishes, your dreams, your friendships as well, social media, online, viral, all these things are within the 12th house. It's definitely about your social sphere here. So Neptune moving back into your 11th is going to really restructure a lot of your collective dreams and visions, and also your aspirations. It's going to do that in very mysterious and unexpected ways. Many of the people that you connect with, the movements, or like the shared dreams that you've been encountering might not have been the part of your original plan for the past 14 years, but they've actually opened a lot of new pathways of belonging and purpose within your friend group as well. So definitely a time where synchronicity is your compass in regards to other people, and especially group dynamics as well. Perhaps for the last few years, you really crossed paths with certain individuals, like just at the right moment, or maybe you felt guided to spaces that really expanded your worldview. Neptune really has like this way of weaving all the threads of fate through all your collective experiences, and it's also been encouraging you to dream bigger than the boundaries of your individual self. So this is like really merging with groups of people, difficulty in drawing boundaries in regards to your social sphere as well. Neptune blurs the edges, especially in the 11th. Your ideals can become a little bit of an illusion. They can become a bit heavy to carry, and your communities can get a little bit over idealized. The switch between like hope and reality in your friend groups can sting a little bit. Neptune in the 11th may have exposed a lot of moments where your boundaries and friendships were too thin stretched, actually, and you were probably overgiving, or maybe over identifying with a cause, or maybe you were trusting the wrong people too soon. But that is actually not failure. It is a Neptunian lesson in discernment. Neptune reveals a lot of truth through enchantment, but it can also do that through disillusionment. So, and even if that happened, when experience felt like betrayals or disappointments, that likely came with subtle blessings as well. You gain a lot of wisdom, you gain a lot of emotional depth about what motivates other people as well. And you also are going to gain a clearer sense over the next 3 months about your own role within the collective. You might have also encountered a lot of mystical or visionary communities, teachers, gurus, and some of them have offered genuine guidance, but others, perhaps they revealed the danger of like giving your power away too much. Neptune here invites you to reflect back on where you've actually surrendered in the name of belonging, or where have you let people cross your boundaries because you wanted to fit in. Neptune is preparing to cross over into Aries in the 12th. So that is about the collective dreams of the past now are going to begin to move more inwards whenever Neptune enters the 12th. So what was actually once shared in groups or networks is now going to shift into a way more subtle spiritual terrain. So instead of sharing your ideas with your community, now you're going to find yourself like emanating them more quietly behind the scenes, and maybe holding your vision not as this big banner anymore, but you're gonna reflect it more as an inner light. So yeah, redefine your sense of responsibility in regards to group of people, and really make a big distinguishment between what you can hold for the collective, and also look at what was never yours to carry. You don't need any friend to rescue, or vice versa. It's about becoming one, but yeah, still with the much needed boundaries within your friendships as well. So true community, it isn't found in all of the loudness of all these shared ideals, but actually in the quiet alignment of all the hearts that know their boundaries as well. So yeah, this is really a mirror of your relationship with the collective, how you give, what you believe in, and also how those beliefs shaped your path in regards to friends. So yeah, the wisdom now is to carry your vision very gently and quietly, and not as a burden, but more as a frequency that you offer to the world. So good luck, my dear Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are gonna have a Neptune retrograde back into the sign of Pisces, and it's gonna dip back into your 10th house. So the 10th house is, of course, about your career, your legacy, vocation, your public life as well, your boss, your father. And the theme for you here is like the dissolving of all the ambitions, and there can be a lot of re-enchantment of your true spiritual purpose within your career. So since 2011, Neptune here has been shaping the way that you understand your place in the world and your leadership role within the world. And it has not done that through these linear steps, but through a lot of detours, a lot of delays, and a lot of unexpected synchronicities in regards to your leadership role, or your, if you're self-employed, in regards to your own business as well. So yeah, I know for a lot of my dear Geminis that your professional path, it may have not unfolded exactly as you've planned. What once maybe felt as a goal may have revealed itself as like a very big learning curve. Can also be disguised as beautiful redirection. Neptune never gives us a straight road ahead. It weaves this mythic narrative, and also guiding us towards purpose, but through the side doors while we are experiencing life. So yeah, the past few years have likely deepened your understanding of what your true calling actually means, beyond all the titles, beyond your status, beyond all the external markers of what you think or thought success was like. So Neptune in the 10th can definitely blur the line between your vision and reality, and it can create a bit of confusion around your ambition, but also your reputation. And it can also, you need to be a little bit more careful for the next 3 months for your professional alliances as well. Definitely with Saturn here, some of them might try to like delay you even more over the next 3 months. So and over the last few years, you might also have encountered a lot of opportunities that looked very golden on the surface, but they've actually revealed a lot of hidden costs, spiritual costs, costs towards your soul. I hope you haven't, sold your soul for success, because that can be very, very hard the next 3 months to deal with. So yeah, maybe you have overextended yourself, maybe sacrificing a lot of personal energy, or sacrificing a lot of personal boundaries in the name of achievement. So which ambitions were never truly yours, and where have you confused other people's expectations with your soul's direction? A lot of encounters with deceptive or unclear figures in authority roles as well. Maybe even your father, or maybe even your own illusions about what success should look like. All these things, they were never wasted time. They were actually Neptune's initiations, and Neptune was teaching you to see through all the glamour. So yeah, luckily there's an element of forgiveness here too. forgiving yourself for chasing mirage, forgiving others for playing their part in your unfolding and in your initiations. Really know that all these detours in regards to your career really helped you to clarify your values, even if it took years to understand why. So now Neptune is going to prepare to shift back from Pisces into Aries of January next year. So from your 10th to your 11th. And then in the 11th, it will rule or like cast its spell over your social networks, over your community, and also your collective aspirations. So yeah, the focus is going to shift a little bit from what role you play to the ripple effect of yeah, your presence, just being you. And instead of like thriving or like trying to, instead of like, yeah, really trying to fit into an external structure, you are invited to really become the influence itself. You are enough the way you are. You've like been through the leadership Neptune initiation, so you might really become a very, very spiritual, influential person within your friend group from next year onward. So yeah, the next chapter is going to be less about your reputation and more about your connection and contribution to society. So yeah, all the wisdom that you've learned from yeah, all these whirlwinds in your career path, they can now flow more easier outward whenever it shifts into the 11th. And then it's going to really shift and shift and shape a lot of your group connections and your communities. So yeah, do not take on the weight of the collective or from your friend group, or you might feel a little bit lost. That is like a tip I can give you for the next ingress. So, dear Gemini, the legacy we leave, it isn't carved in stone. It is actually carried through in the lives we touch, often without ever realizing the full extent of your influence. So yeah, it's about releasing old ambitions with a lot of grace and also stepping into a more fluid, soulful kind of leadership, one that isn't about proving anything. It is about just being the flowy current that carries others forward. So good luck, my dear Gemini. And hey, Mim, Jax, I hope you're doing well. Then we have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Hi, dear Cancer. We're going to have a Neptune retrograde back into the sign of Pisces. And for you, it's going to do that in the 9th house. So the 9th house, it is about expanding horizons. It's about questioning your belief system. It is also about, yeah, your worldview that gets more spiritualized. So, yeah, the 9th is about philosophy, higher learning, and it also brings a very big reflective closing cycle to mental and spiritual expansion that actually started in 2011. And over all these years, your view of the world has likely been shaped not by linear growth, but by a lot of serendipity and subtle redirection. There were probably a lot of unexpected encounters, books or courses, or maybe new studies that really found you at the exact right time. So yeah, that can happen in meaningful conversations with strangers, definitely from another culture or from another cultural background than yours. That can happen within overseas long distance trips that might have changed the way you saw the world. These are actually classic Neptunian threads that are weaving throughout your belief story. So the transit here can feel a lot more mystic and mythic than simply mundane. It's really deep and very spiritual. Definitely Neptune and in a spiritual house, it is the planet of spirituality. So yeah, it is really encouraging you to see the world not just as like a set of facts, but more as a living, breathing narrative. And the meaning really hides in all these chance meetings and all these small signs. Many of your core beliefs have probably softened and opened up more and really shifted under Neptune's gentle dissolving influence. But with Neptune, it always comes with its shadows. So many of you have probably encountered a lot of false teachers, false gurus, false people who portray to be spiritual that were actually leading you on. It can be about seductive ideologies that were actually confusing, and some of you might have definitely over romanticized a lot of philosophies that could actually felt true at one time, but eventually they started to reveal their cracks. So this doesn't mean you were naive. It actually means that you were learning how beliefs can change over time, and that is actually okay. And also how important discernment is when you are dealing with all of these big ideas and this higher knowledge. So this retrograde really is an invitation to forgive yourself for what you once believed in, even if it wasn't true. That is okay. It had its purpose and it had its meaning. And also forgive yourself for whom you once trusted, or who once claimed to be a spiritual teacher for you, and it probably wasn't true. So that actually teaches you who was true and who was spiritual. So yeah, it really served its purpose. And really also offer the forgiveness outward to the world, to also release all these lingering resentments towards anyone who may have maybe misled you or disillusioned you. You never should blame Neptune's lessons. They are about showing us where fate and fantasy can blur. Yeah, also be a little bit mindful about escapist tendencies. They might also have surfaced during this time. You might be really hooked on binging stories, or music or films, or like really retreating or escaping and all of these spiritual ideas when everything felt too rigid or too painful. So while this maybe have offered some temporary solace, it's also highlighted how your higher mind is so sensitive and so impressionable. And that could have also lead towards very deep overwhelm. So yeah, very important to practice discernment in all religious and spiritual topics. And Neptune is going to prepare to move back into Aries next year in January, and then it's going to shift from your 9th to your 10th house. And then it's going to shift into your career and your leadership role and your status. So yeah, all of the expansive inner work from the 9th that you've done is actually ready to come out very, very to really manifest very outwardly. Neptune in the 9th really opened your mind. Neptune in the 10th is going to ask you to really embody what you've learned and to really become this spiritual leadership person. So yeah, to really like live your philosophy through the way that you lead and build and contribute to the world. And I think a lot of Cancer, especially Cancer risings, are going to start a really spiritual business of their own next year. And that might be very, very wise to do that. With all of the lessons that you've learned with Neptune in the 9th, you can really be the spiritual leader as of next year. Even right now already, but you just need to wrap up some final things right now. So yeah, right now Neptune is guiding you through your beliefs, and also it will mirror how it also will guide your public path in the years ahead. So recognize the synchronicities, surrender to them, and also know that all this idealism in your worldview also helped you to navigate your future ambitions with more clarity. So yeah, align your career and your public image with your spiritual truth as of next year, and do not do that with like all these inherited expectations or illusions from people that proclaimed to be spiritual, but that definitely showed some cracks over time. So yeah, dear Cancer, your beliefs, they are not cages, they are actually rivers. They are meant to flow, to shift, and also to eventually become the sea that carry you forward. So yeah, you're going to close such a long chapter of spiritual and intellectual evolution. It is really your moment to show your wisdom and to be wondered about the world as well. Forgive what needs forgiving, and also prepare to express your beliefs through action, as Neptune is going to enter the 10th next year. So yeah, dear Cancer, What was once an inner philosophy is about to become part of your living legacy. So good luck, my dear Cancer. And hi, share Risby. Mega loads of peace and love. Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. So then we have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. There is currently a Neptune retrograde taking place as of tomorrow, the 22nd of October. And Neptune is going to shift back into your 8th house. So for you, my dear Leo, the themes here are about releasing a lot of a lot of confusing karmic entanglements, and it's about reclaiming your inner power. So Neptune retrograde in the 8th, it is about shared resources, about deep bonds, about intimacy, about power dynamics, and also about very deep psychological transformation. So yeah, this one here marks the closing of a very long chapter of 14 years of complex emotional and energetic merging with others. So since 2011, fully on in 2012, Neptune has been sometimes silly, sometimes very dramatically reshaping the way how you bond with other people. That can be romantically, but also in a business way, and it can also be about an energetic entanglement as well, but definitely about psychological intimacy. So this house is really where trust is tested, and Neptune, yeah, it often enters through the back door of vulnerability, and you don't always expect it, and it mostly works a bit more in the background as well. So yeah, it might not be as easy to really put your finger on it. And over the past years, you might have experienced both a lot of transcendent connections and at the same time a lot of entangled attachments. So these were situations that actually showed you the beauty of merging, while others showed you the pain of losing yourself in that process. Neptune really blurs the lines, and in the 8th, it is often about separating your energy from someone else's, and Neptune doesn't let you do that, so everything becomes one, and that can be very, very overwhelming and very intense with that in the 8th. So yeah, revisit now the illusions that may have formed around shared power over the last 14 years. A lot of these dynamics were very, very felt. Were felt very, very strongly, felt really, really faded as well, and even, yeah, definitely karmic as well. So in the beginning, they might have looked like a dream, but over time, they really revealed their complexity. Dependencies that also could have felt like love, but they were actually probably rooted in a lot of unspoken fear out of obligation or out of neediness from one or both ways. So, Neptune, it reveals this very slowly, because first it can seem like a dream, then you can start to see the fog, and when you have the guts and the courage, which I know as the Leo you have, to really walk through that, then emerges clarity. But the 8 brings a lot of emotional entanglements. It can also bring this savior rescuer dynamic, the runner chaser loop, and the so-called twin flame, which was actually someone who drained your energy. But yeah, this comes forth from a fear of self-sufficiency. And Saturn also is in that house. So yeah, you need to learn a lot about boundaries, recognizing what's yours and what's theirs, and also where the energetic merging must actually stop. And Saturn brings a lot of structure, where Neptune once only brought mist. So you definitely felt a shift in March of 2023 and that. And also with Saturn here entering of March of 2023, it might have been very, very difficult to get financial help from other people. That is also one of the signs that you need to do certain things on your own without merging with others. But this also is like a good time to reflect on all these financial and these bonds that are actually based off of resources. Look at who you share debt with. Look at who you share your assets with. some problems in regards to inheritance could also come up. Some business entanglements that can feel a little bit tricky. Neptune in the 8 can definitely romanticize or even obscure all these practical realities. But the retrograde period right now is really going to invite you to finally see the things for what they are, and not what they promised to be. Because that is what Neptune is all about. They promise a lot of things, but in the end, if you're gonna get it, that promise might just dissolve up into thin air. So right now, Neptune back to the 8, but it's actually preparing itself and it's wrapping all of this up to shift back into your 9th house in Aries next year. And that is your house of your belief system, your worldview, your higher mind, also your spiritual philosophy. So all the heavy emotional undercurrents of the past 14 years, they're gonna start to begin to lift and open up more. Neptune in the 8, it really blurred the lines of merging together, but when it crosses over into the 9th, it will start to expand your horizons. So all the lessons in regards to intimacy and trust, now they will really inform you in how you approach life itself and how you look at the world, and not just in how you bond with people, but also how you bond now with your ideas, your beliefs, and what you give meaning to. So yeah, a really powerful time to all fully release a lot of karmic attachments and all these outdated emotional narratives. Think, for example, about your savior complexes, roles of martyrdom, fears of scarcity, and all these loops of dependency are now gonna fully close out. So yeah, trust in your spiritual wisdom. Do not get too much lost in your emotional entanglement over the next 3 months. Yeah, true intimacy, it is not losing yourself in another, it's meeting at the edge of your own wholeness together, and doing that in a very, very wise and spiritual way, and not in deceptive and like overtaking one another and merging too much where you completely lose yourself in the process. So yeah, this one is actually a spiritual initiation through a lot of depth and vulnerability, and how your exchanges of power works. So yeah, what was once felt really, really fated, now over the next 3 months can be totally reframed as like a teacher in disguise. So yeah, claim your power back, and prepare yourself to meet the world with a way more open and liberated heart. So good luck, my dear Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, Virgo? You have a Neptune retrograde back into the sign of Pisces, into your 7th house. Wow. It's been a long stretch, right? Fellow Virgo risings on Neptune in the 7th house for 14 years. Oh my God. So the themes for you, my dear fellow Virgo, is about dissolving illusions in relationships and rediscovering your worth without rescuing or saving one another. So the 7th house, it is about partnerships, marriage, business, about contracts as well. So yeah, this is closing a very big chapter that started back into 2011, fully in 2012. So over the past few years, Neptune has worked through your most intimate realm of your relationship life. And it's been shaping how you connect with others and also how you define yourself within a partnership. So yeah, you've both likely experienced a lot of magic and a lot of fog with Neptune here. Could have been some very distant, fated soul level bonds, deeply spiritual partnerships, and a lot of very mystic synchronicities that have actually led you to people who felt very, very fated. So yeah, these encounters, they often come with this Neptunian energy and sense of oh my God, this must be something, this must mean something, this must be it, this is the love of my life. And it does, but maybe not always in the way that we imagine at first. Some people, they arrive to stay, others arrive to just simply open doors within ourselves. So yeah, this transit has definitely amplified a lot of idealism and over romanticizing relationships. A lot of us may have projected all these extraordinary qualities onto the other. Sometimes that was accurate, sometimes definitely not. And we may have faced a lot of moments of disillusionment when reality really didn't match the dream. So these experiences, yeah, they were never just about the other person. They've been acting like big mirrors, and they've been revealing how we perceive love and how we look at trust and also how we value ourselves. Um, I did some sessions with fellow Virgo rising, and reoccurring pattern was always mostly the Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising that was trying to save someone who had problems with drugs or alcohol, but like yeah, substance abuse was a very big theme in a lot of relationships. A lot of people proclaiming to be this spiritual person, but actually they were just like smoking all the time and running away from their feelings and all these escapist tendencies, and that created a lot of problems within relations for a lot of Virgo rising. So yeah, the time of trying to save our partner, that is gonna end as of January next year. And that might be best, because it's never our, like, trying to save someone is actually putting a very big spotlight on our own wounds of sacrificing ourselves in regards to other people, because we feel like we need to suffer to be spiritual, and that is something that needs to stop right now. So yeah, Neptune in the seventh, all the boundaries within marriage and partnerships became very, very blurry, and you might have given a lot more than what was asked from the other person, or maybe you expected less than you truly deserved. So you might mistake a lot of self-sacrifice for love, but there might also been, yeah, these silent agreements, or maybe you've just set yourself up for some emotional obligations towards other persons, or some, like, yeah, really messy, confusing dynamics that were actually built on hope rather than on clarity. And since Saturn dipped back, since Saturn, yeah, let's say, joined the party in 2023 in March, yeah, all these lessons started to be crystal clear, right? Saturn helped us to draw a very big line where Neptune once only wove these like mystical dreams. It's like Saturn really helped us to ground ourselves back into our relationships. And really, yeah, it has shown us very clearly who actually stands beside you, and who actually disappeared when the fog started to lift. Some people really, yeah, they like it when people are very empathetic, like when partners feel like their woman or their man, doesn't matter about the gender, but if they feel like, oh, they're having so much empathy for my role, and whenever I play the victim, they're gonna care for me. And it was actually the Virgos who were like keeping this pattern alive. And then Virgos started to be mad at people for them playing the victim, and there was this push and pull and back and forth. And Saturn really helped us to like see the truth in that. Yeah, where have you like accepted imbalance? Where have you felt like guilt, fear, or fantasy really shaped your bonds within very close relationships? And now that we've seen more clearly with Saturn in the seventh, Neptune teaches us to forgive them. We are playing an equal part in the story, so yeah, we need to forgive ourselves. We need to forgive the people who hurt us, and also forgive, yeah, others for the role that they played in your evolution. And we do not do that as an erasure of pain, but more as like a release of its grip on it. So yeah, Neptune is now preparing to enter Aries, and that's going to be in the 8th house of shared resources. The 8 is about intimacy, deep emotional, psychological bonds. So yeah, the whole stage here is shifting, and everything that you've learned about love and trust and partnerships is about to get really, really deep. The 8, it is about merging emotionally, financially, spiritual, energetically, and also about the quality of all those, future entanglements will be directly shaped by how well that you've integrated the lessons of Neptune and Pisces in the 7th. So yeah, draw some boundaries, because if you're gonna take that energy with you into the 8, then it's gonna become way harder for you. So release illusions, silent contracts that are not spoken about, that are lingering beneath the surface before Neptune shifts back into the 8. Make space for all of partnerships that are actually rooted in true spirituality and true honesty and mutual respect. And if you do that, and if you succeed in that, and then years ahead can really bring profound intimacy. But this time it will not be about rescuing or losing yourself within the other. It's about meeting others as equals. So, my dear Virgo, love, it is not found in the fog of projection, but in the clear light where two whole beings choose to meet in an equal way. So, by stepping out of the fog, you really are going to create a lot of space for partnerships that really honor your truth, and especially your spiritual truth. So, good luck, my dear Virgo. We have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. What's up, dear Libra? How are you doing? Today is new moon in your sign, so must be a very, tricky day, good and bad, because good is there's a beautiful new moon in your sign with Venus in your sign as well, but then Neptune is going to shift back to Pisces over your descendant back into the 6th. So, the themes for you, my dear Libra, it is about rewriting the story of your selfless service towards others, about your health and maybe things that got really difficult to diagnose, and also about your daily rhythm and routine and how Neptune has been casting a fog over that for the past 14 years. So yeah, for Libra rising here, and Mem Jax says Libra rising and Aquarius sun makes me hard to handle sometimes. Yeah, that is an interesting combination, because I feel whenever you have a very strong Uranus on the sun, or like an Aquarius sun, it just like overrules everything else. It's something that like really baffled me from time to time when I do readings for my clients or for my friends. Like I have a friend with a whole Capricorn stellium, but he has Uranus on the sun, and he is like such a shocking Aquarius. It's really, really funny. So I understand what you're saying. Okay, back to Libra. Neptune has been retrograde in your 6th house of health, work, your service, your daily habits. And it's now going to close a chapter that actually started in 2011. Over the past decade, Neptune has been casting its fog on the structure of your daily routine. Sometimes that could have been very inspiring, could also have been like very, very spiritual, mystical devotion. It's about compassion and empathy in your daily routine. And sometimes Neptune could have created a lot of confusion and exhaustion and overextension, and really like being a martyr in your daily routine and having all these sacrifices for having too much service towards other people. So, yeah, your rituals, your habits, and also the ways that you care for your body, your mind. With Neptune's influence here, you might have experienced a lot of fluctuation in your motivation. You could have like gone through cycles of like over perfectionism that followed by total collapse. Or maybe there were periods of like idolizing this selfless service to others at the cost of your own well-being. So yeah, Neptune is so good at romanticizing sacrifice, but in the sixth, the house of Virgo, the house of stress, that can really lead to a lot of burnout, to like invisible labor, or you are not being seen for all the work that you've been putting in, or maybe you have been neglecting your health in the name of wanting to be helpful or wanting to feel like useful. So yeah, that is something that needs to stop right now. So that can be a focus for the next 3 months. Another major theme of this retrograde is, of course, revisiting all the narratives that you've actually carried about what it means to be useful or worthy. Maybe you've held yourself to an unrealistic standard in your work and routines towards others as well. Have you maybe given endlessly without asking for balance or recognition? Neptune in the sixth, that can like really put us into saviorism and rescuing and caretaking and also carrying a lot of burdens that were actually never yours to carry. So yeah, on a health level way, Neptune, definitely some of you Libras have experienced some, yeah, weird things in regards to health, things that were difficult to diagnose, second opinions that were totally different answers, and maybe it has forced you to really develop a way more intuitive relationship with your body. You might also have learned sometimes, maybe the hard way, that your body already knows before logic does. So, yeah, this is the house where Neptune tests the boundaries between selfless service and self erasure. And Saturn has been joining the party since 2003 in March. So, luckily, Saturn, when it came in, it might have added some structure to what Neptune once dissolved. And Saturn helped highlighting where your energy must be more fully protected. So now Neptune is going to move back into Aries as of January 2026, and then it will shift back into your seventh house of partnerships and close bonds. So the lesson of the sixth really becomes the groundwork for your future connections and marriage and business partnerships and close, very close one-on-one friendships. So right now, the way how you manage your service and your work and your self-care is going to directly impact how you show up for others. And if you've learned to honor your energy, and if you maintain your boundaries, and if you release all of this unhealthy self-sacrifice, then the next phase can bring a lot of inspired spiritual partnerships rather than draining ones, and rather those of rescuing and saving and victim mentality within relationships. So yeah, let go of all these savior narratives and all the illusions that actually your worth is tied to overgiving. That is not true. If you release all of these old patterns, Neptune in the seventh is actually going to elevate your relationships into these high bound spaces of mutual nourishment rather than all of the imbalances that Neptune can bring as well. So, my dear Libra, service is very sacred, and when it flows from your own wholeness, not when it's offered as a proof of your worthiness. So, reclaim your energy, and yeah, rewrite your story of your daily service, and do it not as a performance of perfection, but as like this gentle devotion to yourself and to others, and do it out of love. And when you do that, you're going to attract more balanced and soulful partnerships in all the years to come. So good luck, my dear Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. We're currently having a Neptune retrograde back into the sign of Pisces. And for you, my dear Scorpio, that is happening in the fifth house. So yeah, it's in a fellow water sign. It's actually, yeah, beautiful. You're capable of handling intense things. The fact that it's making a beautiful water trine in your fifth house of joy, I think you're one of the signs that is gonna have an easier time dealing with this energy. So yeah, the themes for you, it is about reclaiming your inspiration from illusion and also about remembering the joy of creation. So the fifth house, it is of course about romance, self-expression, attraction, flirting. It's about making kids, creativity, joy, and this marks a very this is going to close out a very long chapter that actually started in 2011. That is when Neptune first entered your fifth house. So this is the part of your chart that is putting a spotlight on your inner child, on your artistic spirit, and also on your capacity to really have fun in life. Neptune here, Neptune has its pros and cons, as you already know, probably, but he might have a lot of experienced moments where he had a lot of exalted highs and joys, moments of like truly falling in love with an idea, a person, a project, a feeling that got triggered that reminded you of childhood as well. And yeah, this really opened up a lot of channels of inspiration. This deep romantic experience, the experiences that actually felt a lot of that felt faded, and all the creative pursuits that could have felt like larger than life as well, or it could also like manifest in all these meaningful encounters with children that have actually all shifted how you see yourself and how you express yourself. Neptune in the fifth, it is about longing for something magical, maybe a soulmate, or creating a masterpiece with your own two hands. Maybe it's about creating a creative identity that like really transcends the ordinary. That is what Neptune is all about in the fifth. But it also asks you, what happens when all of the magic that I just talked about, what happens when it fades away? And that is when things might start to feel a little bit lonely. So yeah, where Neptune idealizes, it eventually dissolves the illusion of all of that, which I just mentioned. And over all these past years, you may have faced a lot of romantic or creative disappointments, and not because they were meaningless, but actually because their meaning was never meant to stay fixed. Neptune, it changes. So it changes the energetic aura as well. So yeah, the romantic entanglements that you've encountered, they've probably carried a very big "this is the one" and "this is my soulmate" quality at first, but yeah, over time it revealed more of the deeper layers of that beautiful human you've met within. So yeah, that is the point where Neptune can be a little bit about disillusionment. Like, we are all human, and it's not because you project all of these fantastic qualities onto the other that the other is capable of living up towards that. Living up towards Neptune standards, that is like practically impossible. So Neptune's energy here as well, or maybe the paradox that I'm talking a little bit about right now is that it also teaches through enchantment first, and then it goes over to like a big unraveling. So it's like the lovers, the passions, the dramas, and all the bursts of joy and all the heartbreak that actually refined your relationship with your pleasure in itself. So it's illuminating your relationship with escapism through all of the facets that I've just mentioned as well. How actually your romantic fantasies and your creative obsessions and how all like these big dopamine fueled highs and low can like both inspire and unground you at the same time. And this is not a failure, it is actually a very big lesson. So Neptune is actually preparing to move over in January into your sixth house of work routine and your daily structure as well. So, yeah, all the forces of getting inspired through all these other people and romances and creativity, all of this is gonna start to seek a more tangible expression whenever it moves over in the sixth house. So yeah, the Neptunian dream from the fifth now wants a practical vessel within the sixth house. So if your creative path has been feeling a little bit scattered, then the next phase of Neptune can really start to help you to anchor your vision into your daily rhythm. And also maybe it's going to provide you that you don't need to lose yourself in self-sacrifice whenever Neptune shifts over in the sixth. And this is like the positive of having Neptune in the fifth first, that it teaches you that fun is so important. Don't lose yourself by over productivity when it shifts into the sixth. The transit here on the past 14 years, it actually teaches you that when Neptune shifts over from the fifth to the sixth, that it can become a very big trap when you swing too far from personal joy into service at the expense of your own pleasure. And be very aware of new thoughts emerging from January of next year that are gonna sound like my joy doesn't matter unless I'm useful, or maybe yeah, just know that your joy is not something to throw in the bin. It is actually the seed of the service that you offer to the world. So yeah, you need to really integrate your inspiration from the fifth into a sustainable structure in the sixth. So that is like the big task ahead. So yeah, my dear Scorpio, the inspiration visits you in dreams, but the real magic really happens when we give those dreams a structured place in the everyday world that we call home. So yeah, reclaim your joy and see everything clearly, not as a fantasy, but more as a living art. So good luck, my dear Scorpio. And thank you so much, Ma'am Jax. She shares once again, you have provided me guidance. Thank you. I really do appreciate you and your word. I love you. I love you too, Ma'am Jax. Thank you for tuning in with us today. I'm very, very happy to have seen you here, and I wish you a nice day. Okay, good luck, my dear Scorpio. We're gonna move on to Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, Sagittarius, we are currently dealing for the next 3 months with a Neptune retrograde back into the sign of Pisces. And for you, that is gonna happen into the fourth house. So yeah, a little bit more of difficult energy for you, Sagittarius, than for Scorpio. For you, it makes a square to your Sun, Moon, or Rising, and in the fourth, it's a very deep emotional house for you. So yeah, the theme for you, my dear Sagittarius, it is about dissolving the family myths from your ancestors and also about reclaiming your emotional roots. So for Sagittarius rising, the fourth house of home, family, ancestry, and also emotional foundation. Yeah, look back to all the stories that you've carried about where you come from. Because since 2011, Neptune has actually been blurring and sometimes even distorting your relationship with your sense of belonging and your sense of feeling at home and your sense of like, yeah, feeling connected and one with your family. That might have been a little bit more difficult since 2011. And it may have made your home feel both mystical and unstable at the same time. It could have been like both a source of comfort and confusion, not knowing when you come home which sign of the coin is gonna like pop on your hand whenever you throw the coin, and that can be very, very yeah, annoying actually. So yeah, Neptune in the fourth, it can bring a very big idealizing vision of your family. There can also be like a kind of deep yearning for emotional safety, and like the image that you've had inside of your head of the perfect home that may have not matched your living reality at all. So for some, this is gonna show up of like an over romanticizing family role, wanting to be the rescuer or the caregiver or the one who wants to keep the peace at all costs. Well, no one is becoming happy of that, but for others, it's about manifesting, or for others, the energy could have come in as like a sort of dissolution of all the old structures within your family system. Some of you have definitely changed your living situations. Some of you might have gotten very estranged from home. Some of you really blurred a lot of boundaries within the family system. Neptune is drawing your attention to the ancestral line, and also to the stories about your inner child. All the things that actually have been living below the surface. So yeah, with this final retrograde, we are ready for the uncovering of some family secrets. And yeah, the fog and the confusion might finally start to lift. I would say not January, but like after March of next year, I think things are gonna get a bit better for you. And also, yeah, Neptune's influence here in the fourth, you may have like unconsciously carried a lot of myths about what family is supposed to look like, or what role that you're like meant to be within all of that. And over the time, these illusions may have cracked open, not to disillusion you entirely, but to bring a lot of truth to light in regards to your family and your ancestral line. And the retrograde, it's going to offer you a chance to revisit the moments when the veil got lifted, because I know when Neptune lifts its veil in the fourth, that it can be a little bit overwhelming. Like, we are born with like such a loyalty inside of our DNA towards our parents, that it's very, very difficult to make ourselves guilty towards the family system. That is so hard to do. But with Neptune, he just like made a lot of confusion and fog within of like your home family. Could have even be with your roommate. And the fourth house is where you live. So if you've not been living with your parents anymore, and you've had a roommate, for example, then the energy is gonna manifest in that way as well. So yeah. Where did you where did you feel let down or unseen by family members, or people you live together with? Where did you overgive? Where did you carry a lot of responsibilities that weren't truly yours to carry? Where did you learn to shrink, to maybe disassociate as well, and also to maybe self-sacrifice in order to keep the peace? Luckily, with Saturn's presence here in the house as well in the fourth since 2023, all of these themes, Saturn might have made that a little bit more concrete. Saturn has probably been revealing a lot of generational patterns, and also has probably been pushing you or kicking you right up into the butt to put up stronger boundaries. So let me know if that is right. I know a lot of Sages, and oh my God, it is right. So also very common here with Neptune, very unstable home dynamics, maybe problems with water inside of the home, or maybe when constructors came over to fix something in the home, it wasn't well done, or it created more chaos or confusion. And yeah, that is just like a little bit of Neptune's influence here. Could have also been manifesting in a lot of people coming and going, a lot of unclear housing situations, maybe emotional undercurrents at home or within yourself that were very hard to name. Just know that these experiences are not random. They're actually, Neptunian initiations. So yeah, they've been pushing you towards deeper emotional clarity, even though that's not been easy for you. So Neptune is gonna make its ingress back into Aries as of next year in January, and that is gonna be in the fifth house for you. It's gonna get easier, dear Sagittarius. The fifth house is the house of joy, self-expression, creativity, inspiration as well. So Neptune, and that will give a lot of inspiration for a new self-expression, and all of this private work from the fourth is gonna start to begin to turn more outwards. So the story of the past 14 years about healing the inner child is going to become about letting that healed inner child play in a spiritual way. What was once more about like all deciphering all these old family narratives is actually going to shift and start to become more about writing your own story. That is the fifth. It's about expressing who you truly are without all the stagnating patterns from your upbringing. So yeah, just like throw them all in the bin right now. You don't need them anymore. Close the loop on all the family myths that are keeping you stuck in the past. Release all the roles of your saviorness and your caretaker and like the silent supporter, and really allow yourself to step more into like, the ownership of your own life. Neptune in the fifth is going to bring a lot of new inspiration, but the quality of that inspiration is really going to depend on how fully you've actually released all the ghosts of the fourth house. And fourth house, that is also about the past. So, just know, dear Sag, that your roots do not have to define your wings. And we can honor where we came from without living inside that story forever. You return to your own emotional center and be ready to make more room for joy, play, and creative freedom in the years ahead. So, good luck, my dear Sagittarius. And Mem Jax says, my Sag friend, yes, he has learned boundaries the hard way. I know. A lot of Sages. I saw one Sag from really close how this all played out, and even I, with all my planets and Pisces, like really wanted to like care and help, and showing that he's like really that his boss or his female has been like bossing. His female was his boss. I'm gonna say it this way. So the man that I'm talking about, he's so sweet, so living, so sweet, such a good heart. And then he had like a very tough female. She was such a boss, and it's like I'm like digressing, but it's like not easy for Sagittarius with Saturn and Neptune in the fourth. It is a lot. So good luck, my dear Sagittarius. We have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Okay, Capricorn, you are having a Neptune retrograde back into the sign of Pisces. And for you, that is happening in your third house. So for you, my dear Capricorn, it's making a sextile to your Sun, Moon, or Rising, so not all too bad. However, the third house, this close conjunct the MC, it depends on your rising sign and Placidus chart, of course. But Capricorn, the themes for you are about dissolving the mental fog and rediscovering your voice. So Neptune retro in the third house of communication, your local environment. It's about learning, studying, being on the road, like short road trips. And it's also about, cars, phones, the technological gadgets that you use, emails, phone calls on a daily basis as well. So it's about communication. And it's actually an invitation here to look back at how you were thinking, how you were speaking, and how much you've learned since 2011 when Neptune entered this house for you. So it is the part of the chart that really governs the everyday fabric of your life. It's about the people nearby. It's the networks that shape your world in your local environment. It is the way that you share your ideas and also how you perceive reality. And with Neptune here, your everyday conversations and your learning experiences, they may have carried a bit the sense of mystery, things that felt larger than life. Maybe you were like sitting somewhere in a cafe or at the mall, and you were having a thought and you were thinking about a question, and then in the other aisle, the other people were talking to each other, and it's like they were giving you like the spoken answer to your question inside of your head. That is like how Neptune in the third can work. It is very, very cool. The mystical side of conversation is really, really highlighted here. So yeah, the placement of Neptune here, it can feel very, very mystical, questions, answers. It also fuels inspired language. It is about poetic thinking, and yes, communication that can get really spiritual. But the shadow side is that it can also blur a lot of clarity. It can bring a lot of fog, confusion, or it could also brought moments when words simply failed you. Like you know what you wanted to say, but like just didn't come out because Neptune was like clouding your throat. So yeah, it could also have brought periods of like intense inspiration in your communication and learning, and yeah, maybe a certain music genre could have really defined the spirit in your life. Could have also manifested in a very creative writing phase, very fated conversations, ideas that arrived like whispers from someone else. And then inevitably also came a lot of moments of disillusionment or mental fog, because the third house is also the house of the conscious mind. Neptune here can really cloud the mind. You could have like just be very inspired one moment, and then in the next moment fully losing focus in a blink of an eye. You could have felt sometimes misunderstood, or people were glad to misunderstand you. Maybe you could have drowned in too much information. You might have also been facing from time to time some creative or intellectual blockages, especially since Saturn entered Pisces as well, since March of 2023. But either way, your communication has been affected. And yeah, Neptune, it doesn't always give a lot of explanations, and that's so funny because Neptune doesn't give explanations, and it's in the house of explanations. So sometimes it speaks in whispers, but it misses like the bullet points, and sometimes, yeah, some opportunities or friendships or experiences, they might have felt guided, and then they like faded like in a fog or a mist, and leaving only you alone at the quest that still needed to be finished, or yeah, maybe they only left some quiet lessons behind for you to ponder upon. So yeah, good time for reading spiritual books, doing spiritual studies. Yeah, surrender to music, to everything that is beautiful to the ears as well. So yeah, now Neptune is gonna prepare in the next 3 months to jump over into the sign of Aries, and that is your fourth house, which is about home, family, and your emotional foundations. So yeah, all the fog and the mist of your outer environment, like your outer local environment, is gonna give way to way deeper exploration of your inner world. So yeah, the next chapter, it is not about external noise, but it's about rootedness. The fourth house is about where you come from, your ancestral line, your deep emotions and your roots. So yeah, it's then about healing the base layers of your being. So it's about your emotional history, your sense of home and belonging. So yeah, the key to navigate the shift here is to really release the idealized narratives that may have formed about how clarity should come or should be like. It shouldn't come through these perfect words or perfect timing of perfect understanding. You don't need to speak everything to know it. So yeah, trust your instincts instinctive intelligence. Neptune is gonna really guide you as you really begin to rewrite your sense of home in a more spiritual, fluid, and forgiving kind of way. So yeah, some truths they arrive not as facts, but as feelings that quietly align with everything else. So yeah, this is actually the end of a more intimate dialogue with your own inner voice. So yeah, let this be your teacher. So good luck, my dear Capricorn. We have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, Aquarius, we have a Neptune retrograde back into the sign of Pisces. And for you, that is going to happen in your second house of money and value. So, yeah, the theme for you is about reclaiming your worth and also realigning your values. So, yeah, Neptune retro in the second house, money, resources, values. It's gonna bring you like face to face with all the stories that you've told yourself about your own self worth. Can be materially, can also be spiritually. And the story started in 2011 since Neptune entered the sign of Pisces. So yeah, this transit has actually gently and sometimes very confusingly dissolved a lot of old definitions about value in general, your self world, showing where your self worth may have been attached to all this external validation or possessions or weak systems of security. Yeah, and the second house, that is the house of what you bring to the table. It's about your skills, your voice, your labor, your talents, and also about your money. And with Neptune, all of these things probably have felt very fluid, very confusing, sometimes abundant and inspiring, other times unstable and a scarcity mindset that overrules everything. So yeah, very Neptune is not stable. It can also be about opportunities in synchronistic ways in regards to money that could have felt very, very fated, only to reveal a lot of unexpected lessons later about how you define and protect your own worth while you're in them. So yeah, Neptune here can both idealize and disillusion. Perhaps sometimes you were stuck in situations that actually promised a lot of financial reward, only to discover that they were actually about something way deeper. They were like about a lesson in self-respect and boundaries, and also about your scarcity mindset. So yeah, in the area of your money, you may have swung between a lot of extremes. One day you wake up and you believe that abundance will flow effortlessly without any structure, and the other day you woke up gripping very tightly to all the resources out of such a big overwhelming fear of loss. That is the confusion of Neptune in the second. So yeah, it blurs the line between your worth and what you're giving as well. So for some of you, that might have manifested as a lot of self-sacrifice in regards to money as well, or always giving the others, always giving too much to other people in the hope of being valued in return. But yeah, Neptune never or rarely returns value from the exact place that you give it. It teaches you through a lot of detours. So at first, the path might have seemed very promising, and often it redirects you towards like a more profound and deeper understanding about self-reliance. It's about spiritual trust. It is about a balanced exchange of give and take, and making and earning money and spending it as well. So yeah, a lot of shifting beliefs about money, and starting to understand that money is energy, and also learning where all these spiritual ideas about abundance actually need to meet the practical realities of budgeting and saving and building a lot of stability within that. And Saturn has been helping you since March of 2023 And Neptune there, it is also not to shame, but yeah, it is actually to soften all of these hard beliefs so they can be rebuilt with more authentic, real spiritual truth. So yeah, my dear Aquas, Neptune is going to start to make its preparation to jump into your third house. And from of January of next year, the third house, it is about communication, learning, exchange of ideas, contracts, technological things in which you communicate, like your computer, your phone, but also your car, in which you like drive and be on the road. It's all the third house. So your relationship to value from the second will begin to flow more outwards, where you can express more ideas and talk about it more, and maybe even podcast about how you turned your scarcity mindset into an abundance mindset. All of that, that is like a shift from the second to the third. So before you were learning about how to claim your worth internally, and soon you're going to be exploring how to express and share that with others. So yeah, this final retrograde really asks you, how do you talk about what you value? How do you stand behind your own skills and talents and your ideas? And how are you about to speak up and use your voice about that? And about to, how are you about to share your skills and ideas with other people and your value? How are you gonna communicate about your own value? The lesson here, it is not just about earning or spending with Neptune in a second. Is actually about speaking from a place of inner worth and really allowing your own values to be part of how you connect with your immediate environment soon. So yeah, release martyrdom patterns in regards to finance, forgive past misjudgments in regards to money, reclaim a very healthy relationship with the material and spiritual realm combined. And you're not meant to give everything away just to prove your worth. Your worth simply is being yourself. So yeah, true worth, it is not proving in how much you give, it is actually known in how deeply you stand in what you already are. So yeah, this one is guiding you towards like an unshakable inner foundation that no external force can really define. So good luck, my dear Aquarius. We have Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, and hello, Tarot High Priestess Ruby. She's a Pisces. That is very, very interesting. Let us know how you are doing. Do you feel a little bit confused today? Like I had such weird dreams this night, and like I woke up feeling like I was already like drunk. It's like when Neptune dips back into the sign of Pisces, we're all like collectively drunk. So let's just not, yeah, let's just enjoy it. We don't even need to have a drink to feel a little bit drunk, but we need to be a little bit more careful on the road. I like really felt it a little bit in my brain fog this morning, and like my dreams were like overruling my reality, and like I had such an amazing dream, and I woke up and I had to like really convince myself that it was a dream, and I was like, okay, yeah, well, Neptune is about to shift back into Pisces. So and I'm so happy, Tarot High Priestess. No, I don't feel confused, I feel bored, lol. Well, I'm happy that it's just bored. That is best. But yeah, it can feel also a little bit like tiredness, or like yeah, feeling confused, but I'm glad it's just bored. So my dear Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, we are having a Neptune retrograde back into your sign. And of course, for you as a Pisces rising, that happens in your first house of self. The first house is about yourself, your body, your identity, and also your personal expression. So the themes for you, my dear Pisces, it is about releasing old identities and returning to your true self. So yeah, it is about your personal expression, and this is a very big threshold moment because since 2011, Neptune has been traveling through your sign, a very rare and transformative influence that has actually been shaping how you see yourselves, but only how how all other people see you, and also how you walk through the world. So yeah, The transit has likely blurred and expanded all of the edges of your identity. Some of you have experienced a lot of periods of profound inspiration and a lot of spiritual awakening and a sense of being in tune with something larger than yourself. But with that also came the fog, of course, a lot of masks and projections and also illusions about who you were meant to be, the things that you thought how you were meant to be. Neptune in the first, it acts like this very soft lens, can be very beautiful, but sometimes a little bit unclear. And now with the retrograde, this is like the last time through your sign you're really strongly invited to strip away any remaining illusions and to really return to your own whole essence. So yeah, over all these years, some of you, my dear Pisces, have built certain personas or archetypes to be able to navigate this harsh, tense world. Maybe some roles that helped you to feel safe or meaningful or seen, but actually you were hiding. So perhaps you also lean into being like the healer or the mystic. And I'm not saying that all of these roles were false, they were never false, but they were actually a bit of these Neptunian detours, and they were designed to actually help you discover extra parts of yourself. Now the question is whether they still serve you or not, and think about if they've become maybe some cages. They could have become a golden cage actually. So it's also been about boundaries, and Neptune dissolves a lot of them. And when that happens in the first, we can see that the edges between the self and others can feel very, very small and very, very light and very porous. So it could also have led to overgiving. It could have blurred your personal identity, and it could also have been a little bit difficult to distinguish your needs from those of others. Pisces, you are a sponge. You are so emotional. You're so full of empathy, and other people can make really abuse of that as well. So, and then since 2023, as of March, Saturn has also likely sharpened all of these lessons about boundaries, and it's been actually, yeah, it's been encouraging you to build more clarity in your relationships with yourself, but also with other people, and to really draw some lines in the sand with those who keep abusing your empathy. And the retrograde is an invitation to really own your identity without all the masks. You don't need them. You are perfect as you are. And also recognize where you end and others begin, and trying to find more balance in that. And yeah, it is now the final review of a 14-year cycle that is about to come to an end. So really a big time to integrate everything Neptune has been showing you, all the magic, the confusion, the revelations, all of the detours. They've served their purpose. You've become way more fluid, way more self-aware, and what began as this dissolving of an old you has actually led to the emergence of a way more spiritual and intuitive self-image. So yeah, Neptune is going to prepare to enter Aries soon, as of January 2026. And then it's going to shift over to your second house of money, values, resources, possessions. And yeah, the spiritual identity that is now it needs to like crystallize into action, and you're actually being asked to anchor your sense of self into your relationship with material and inner resources and your own inner values as well, and really align what you are with what you do. And if Neptune in the first really taught you who you are not, then Neptune in the second is going to guide you to build from who you truly are and build from your own skills and your own values. So yeah, dear Pisces, we all wear masks not to lie, but to survive. And eventually we really must remove them to be able to truly live and spread our wings. So yeah, Pisces rising, a very big moment of personal unveiling in the end of a cycle that once learned you to navigate the world through all of these symbols and archetypes and all of these spiritual types, tides. And now it's actually the beginning of a cycle where you can stand as yourself and in your worth, and very strongly, without an apology, without any mask, without any illusion. So yeah, what's gonna remain after the Neptune fog is gonna lift is gonna be the real you, and that can feel very raw, radiant, and very, very real. So I wish you good luck, my dear Pisces, and let me know how you're doing with that energy. So that was it for today. Thank you all for drifting with me through the Neptune's final tides in the sign of Pisces. Yeah, this is the place where illusions are gonna melt into truth, especially from January next year when when Neptune enters Aries. So yeah, this is only like a fragment of the story. I've made two separate videos about Neptune and Pisces because I wanted to lay a very big focus on each of the 12 rising signs. And in my next video, I will talk about like the collective energy, and we're gonna like, yeah, look at some historic cycles, look at what Neptune has brought to the collective since 2011 and 2012. So yeah, we're gonna journey even deeper into the great ocean of what Neptune and Pisces has shaped our entire world for the past 14 years. So yeah, it's right now on its journey to complete its long voyage home. So it will be a very interesting 3 months ahead of us. So yeah, if this message resonated in any way, like, share, and subscribe. And I'm gonna see you next time. Have a nice morning, day, or evening. Bye bye.